Never seen a lame man walk. Never heard a dumb man talk. Never seen a blind man see. I promise you will change his name. Never seen a cancer death. Never seen all the poor get fed. Never seen a prisoner set free. I promise you will change his name. Broken heart made whole. Never seen an orphan find a home. Never seen the weak find the strength. I promise you will change his name. Never seen the sick get healed. Never seen a mystery revealed. Never seen a death man raised. I promise you will change his name. Lord, change his name. My Lord, change his name. Broken heart made whole. Never seen an orphan find a home. Never seen the weak find the strength. I promise you a change. Never seen the sick get healed. Never seen a mystery revealed. Never seen a dead man raised. I promise you a change.
What's up, everybody? What is going on? It's time. It's time for the Big C and Big T podcast. Here we go, talking Razorbacks and whatever else comes up. We talk about it. We laugh about it. We have fun with it. We're fans, and I'm here, Travis Johnson, one of your hosts, joined by my partner, my co-host, the man in charge, Clint Clark. How you doing, buddy?
I'm not really in charge.
Yeah, if you'd be Charles if you were in charge.
Yeah, Charles in charge
of our days and anyway.
That was a good show.
Yeah, except for he was inappropriately doing things to some of his co-stars. Anyway, we'll leave that alone.
Yeah, we'll leave that. We'll leave that alone. But the show itself.
The show itself, yeah. Show itself was good.
You know, at work, we've got just a Roku channel playing, and there's a channel on Roku.
Mm-hmm.
It's just exclusively Saved by the Bell episodes.
Oh, wow.
That is all it is. And, you know, so I got on there. I got on the IMDb of Saved by the Bell today.
Yeah.
And I was looking, you know, they had more episodes of the new class than they did the original Saved by the Bell.
Did they really?
Yeah, it's like they had like it's 86 episodes of Saved by the Bell, which it seems like they had so many more episodes of Saved by the Bell.
Yeah.
It really does, but there's only 86. No, that's not counting the college years and stuff like that. That is just straight.
Yeah.
Say just, you know, Belding and Zach Morris, you know.
Yeah.
So there's only 86 episodes of that, but yeah, there was more. But I think they also, the new class, they switched them out a couple times.
Yeah.
It wasn't like it was a solid run.
Yeah. I watched all of it.
Yeah, dude is
new classes.
He made a living being Mr. Belding.
Yeah. That's all he is. Yeah, that's all he can be. I saw a deal where Lisa Turtle, what's her name, Lark? Something.
Yeah, Van Lark or something like that.
But she was on some talk show where she's talking about some of her mental illness stuff, and she's really had a struggle with it.
Yeah,
she's had it really tough. Thankfully, I think she's on the backside of it now. She's had some good counseling and treatment, but
now, I will say this: my wife listens to so many. She listens to her jibber jabber, and she never yells an answer at me ever. Mm-hmm. But she yelled her name. So what's her name again? Lark Voorhees.
Okay, Voorhees. There you go. Yeah.
There you go. So yeah,
Yeah.
kids that like we've been doing this for 4 years now. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yeah. Something like that.
That for like 4 years. I think we're in our fourth calendar year, if nothing else.
Yeah.
We're in 4 years though. I think this is our fourth year.
Yeah, I think so.
So she's never shouted.
Yeah.
4 years of
And
this.
then you've done the podcast in the car with her.
With the car, with the radio on. David Basil had to get on to us.
Yes, right. Yeah. Yeah,
He's
you
like,
got
no,
scolded.
she don't want to listen. He's like, no, she don't have to listen to us. But it's more like, how unprofessional can you be?
That's
Is what
right.
he was
Yeah,
really thinking. Like, pretty
That's
unprofessional, Bass. Pretty unprofessional.
That's right.
So,
Well, Clint, I got
we were recording this a day late when I was coming out late because I was smoking meats for a friend of mine's company picnic. And I completely forgot I was supposed to jump on the podcast with Travis.
Yeah.
And I looked down like,
I got home from work and I got ready and I sat here and I was like, okay, here we go. Where you at? No, Clint. I felt like half the dates I set up in my life, I just got shut down. Not really.
Okay, now let me ask you a question. Would you rather be, and this is not what we're going to talk about, would you rather be stood up for a date or go on the date and it be a real stinker?
Stood up. Yeah.
See, I had when I was dating again, when I was dating again after my divorce, I got smarter. I was like, I would say, hey, you want to meet somewhere? I would always go to Buffalo Wild Wings. Don't know why I always go to Buffalo Wild Wings.
What is that?
Number one, the food is delicious, but they've changed the menu. I don't like it as much here recently. But
I haven't been there in a while.
They do, to me, they have, if you consider boneless wings not chicken nuggets and actually boneless wings, they have the best boneless wings, in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah.
That's neither here nor there. But I would always go to Buffalo Wild Wings because if they was just terrible conversation, I could at least watch TV.
Yes, right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I went on one and I remember watching a logging competition. Like cats were just out there. And it was more interesting than what was going on in front of me.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Well, you want me to tell you I was thinking I was telling someone this story the other day about one of my worst dating blunders is when I took Tracy out for our first date.
Yeah.
This was Clint's fiance's best friend in high school.
Yeah.
And we had done
really, really dumb. Don't get engaged in high school, kids. That's stupid.
Well, we had done like double dates before, but I finally worked up the nerve, asked her out just to go out, me and her. Okay. So that's how well, I think I was a freshman in college and she was a senior in high school or something, or it was around that time. So I work up the nerve and so we go to the movie. Okay. But like something happened to where we couldn't, I think she was working or something and we couldn't go eat before the movie. So I said, well, and still make the movie. So I said, we'll just go get something to eat after the movie. Well, I probably should have done like a Waffle House or Denny's, and we're in Conway. Those were available. For some reason, we went to Hardee's. Well, guess where she was working?
Hardee's, yeah.
Yeah. That's why I'm still single at 47 years old, folks.
Yeah, no.
I took a girl. I took a girl to the place where she worked.
Well, see, you learn from these things, but also you should just take them. You should have just took her out to dinner because you're a great conversation
and forgot about the movie. Now I would know that.
Yeah, because you could look, we're gonna have a conversation.
You go somewhere where you can just talk, hang out, get to know each other. Movies for later, but this was, I was young, stupid. Anyway, all right, I got another funny story for you, Clint.
Absolutely.
Okay, I live in the beautiful town of Metropolis of Thornton, Arkansas. Okay,
fine town.
Like this town, I'll tell you how big our town is, folks. If you've never been to beautiful Thornton, just stop in when you're driving down the 4-lane between Fordyce and Camden sometime. Anyway, you cannot purchase an item in this town. The only place to purchase an item is there's a Coke vending machine at the car wash. And the car wash doesn't work. Like none of it works, but there's a vending
So
machine.
what you're saying is if I came to Thorn like I'm going to spend money, what business can I
Yes,
go spend my money at?
where can I support the taxes to build this community up?
They'd be like, there's a Coke machine
It's a
over
vending
there.
machine.
There's a Coke
And I
machine.
think there's a guy 2 doors down, he does a tree service. You could hire him, but that's about it. That's all we got. Anyway, so but there's my house is, I mean, I have a house on either side of me. There's another house that's kind of canny corner, no one across the road from me. Someone around me has gotten chickens recently. Okay. Because small town, I used to wake up, didn't hear chickens. Okay. Now all of a sudden in the last week, I'm hearing chickens, right?
Right.
So Monday morning, Clint, I walk out of my house, and I have like a decent sized little porch. And so I walk out the door, and uh, there's a sidewalk running straight away from the porch, not very far. Okay. And at the end of that sidewalk, I look up and there's this huge black and white rooster. Okay. And I look at him. I should have filmed all this, man. I don't know. It just, I just got good laughs out of this. No one else may get good laughs out of this. I got good. So I look at him and he fluffed up his feathers, like they do.
Yeah.
And then he said, and like he was like challenging me, like, come on, fat boy, let's roll,
like you
and
want the
then
smoke?
you want the smoke. And I'm like, man, I'm a Baptist preacher. You know what we've been known to do to chickens? like we eat you, like put you some taters and gravy, dude, you're done. Anyway, so and then all of a sudden I start watching him. And I'm just laughing the whole time. I'm thinking of the Jerry Seinfeld episode where Kramer gets the chicken that he gets and he puts it in the cockfighting.
Yeah.
Little Jerry Seinfeld. so I noticed, I watched him and he walks around my house and stops like every about 10 or 15 feet and crows and like does it, and then just like he's like, is circling my house like he's marking his territory. So I got thug chickens hanging out in my neighborhood, Clint. Now I know
Man,
you're a chicken farmer, okay?
I am, and I had some Brahmas and they got a little aggressive. They would come at me in the pit. And I'm like, listen, I'm not scared to kick a chicken.
Yeah.
I'm just not. Like,
Well, and here's the thing, Clint. I'm gonna be honest with you. I want to be this chicken's friend
no, I know.
because I'm fine with him being out in my yard. I'm
Yeah.
fine with the noise, man. I used to drive a van with tons of or a bus with tons of teenagers on it, making crazy noises. I'm
Yeah.
patient, man. I can handle noise.
Right. Yeah.
I'm good at that. Like I can zone out whatever crazy noises are happening and focus on what I need to focus on.
100%.
If I need to sleep through a rooster crowing, I can sleep through a rooster crowing. Okay. So what I did is I named him. I'm thinking I'm going to give him a name, but I'm going to give him a cool name. Okay.
Right.
And I'm going to see if that'll help because I watched him.
Diablo.
I watched him. I thought of this the second day because we had this interaction 2 days in a row. Okay.
Right.
And so I just, the time when I leave is when he's out there or whatever. So here's my name for him. You ready for this?
Ready.
Talon Van Kroenstein.
What was his first name again?
Talon
Van Crow is pretty good.
See,
It's clever. It's clever.
The whole talons, like,
Yeah, no, I get it.
he looks like he has big talons. Right?
I mean, it's not funny, but it's clever.
I think, and it sounds professional.
Oh yeah, no, it's very professional.
Yeah.
I mean, like you got to think about it. Like Talon, it's an underrated first name. It really is It's a solid one.
It is Talon Van Kroenstein.
So,
but here's the problem.
Yeah,
I told my mom this story today.
Yeah.
Oh no, she was in a good mood. She got a new TV, so she's happy. She bought her a 75-inch TV, but that's another story. So so she was in a good mood, and so she played along with the joke. And she said, all the other chickens are gonna make fun of him because of his name. Like a kid in elementary school. Like, what's your name? And the kids can't say it properly,
Yeah.
Talon Van Kroenstein.
So
Just call me Tal.
because speaking of wanting to make an animal your friend,
Yeah.
I discovered something the other day, and I discovered like a month or so ago. I just happened to notice it. I live in Worcester, Shady Grove area, so so your old stomping grounds.
Yeah. Yeah.
I drive past your childhood home
Yeah.
literally every day because I like
Yeah.
to go that way.
Yeah.
I go to Mountain Drive, runs out, it ends in Shady Grove. So over to the right, I noticed 4 buffalo.
Yeah.
Just in Worcester, like there's a buffalo, bison, whatever,
Yeah. Same thing.
same thing. So and I'm like, I want to make him my friend. Because I do like seeing, just out of the norm animals. Like I
Yeah.
enjoy, like when we're in trip, when we like on trips, like we saw some wild goats out in one of the Las Vegas parks, and then Yellowstone. I saw some moose,
Yeah.
mooses. So I like seeing that kind of thing, and so like to see the buffalo out there, and I was like, Travis, you ain't gonna believe somebody right down from my house. They've got buffalo. I want to make them my friend. And then you told me, yeah, it's been down there forever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
They've been there for a while.
I thought I discovered something new and cool. And I'm like,
Well, and I don't know. It was a while that they were there, so I'm just guessing they were left over from that same family. But my mom was. I meant to ask her about that. I'll try to think to ask her about who those
yeah.
people
So
are.
I
She
don't
may
know. I
know
mean,
them.
there's nothing like they had 4 just buffalo out there. There's there's one bigger one that's obviously the bull, and then you got a couple cows out there and got a calf. So it's neat to watch. I'm not sure, but they're on a lot of land for 4 of them.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
like
used to my mom would get they had a big enough buffalo farm up there
yeah,
to where they were like selling meat and
yeah,
and all that kind of stuff. And so we would go up there and she would go get like the ground bison meat and
yeah,
we'd have buffalo burgers every now and then. And
yeah.
I think she had got steaks maybe before, but I remember the
Yeah.
ground.
I've got from Whole Foods. I got a bison ribeye one time down
Yeah.
there. So anyway, yeah.
Hey,
So yeah,
how is it? How do you remember what it is to put something up on the screen with us? Because I meant to put something up here real quick.
I think you just got to share a screen. But I
What's
don't know.
that under?
Have no idea more.
Okay. Well,
Well, there's a share screen button here.
where's it at? Oh, there it is. Yeah.
There you go. I think you just got to have it up. I don't think there's a way to.
Anyway. Okay. Well, if you never had a chance, you need to look up Guy on a Buffalo on.
Oh no, that is a great. I
Yeah. Yeah.
love Gone to Buffalo.
Yeah. Yeah.
My
Okay.
my wife's shirt. I got her shirt like her very first Christmas present I ever got. I got her was like, "You're welcome, lady."
Those are good. So, folks, if you never
Yeah,
watched those videos,
yeah. Do yourself
they're
a
worth
favor.
watching. And there's a
Yeah,
movie. There's a whole movie. Yeah.
yeah.
But what happened was this band went in and made up some songs about highlights from the movie, and it's hilarious. So, anyway, all right, Clint, let's talk some Razorback
Ooh,
stuff,
baby,
man.
awesome.
John Calipari has been on the scene for a week now, a little over a week, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And so far we've added one player, Big Z.
Big Z from Kentucky.
I forget how you say his whole name, but anyway, big 7'2" center. that's a big get, not only
It
size
is a
wise.
big get. I think people are disappointed because they really thought it was just going to be like, hey, I'm John Calipari, come to Arkansas, and everybody's just going to be like, okay, let's go to Arkansas. He's having to work. He's having to put in the work. He's got relationship with these kids.
Mm.
So, so it's not a man. He had put a staff together. Did hire the coach from Louisville today.
Yeah, Kenny Payne. That's
Kenny Payne.
some history with him. He was a Cal assistant the last time Cal won the national championship.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people were saying it's big, like Cal's team have done the best whenever Kenny Payne has been on his bench for him. So that's a big get. They say he's a good not only just a good recruiter, but he's also a good technician. He's good at developing players. And so that's going to be that's something we talked about a lot with Bart Reed that was missing from the Musselman camp. And so now that Kenny Payne is hired in as associate head coach, that's a huge get. Hoping we're going to see some more guys. I mean, there's I've
Seems like El Ellis was leaning towards coming back now. Is that correct, or did I dream that?
Who?
El Ellis.
I think he had used up all his. Hadn't he used up all his?
I don't know.
Battle was the one that we were.
I don't know. We'll just make it. We'll make crap. I make crap up all the time.
Yeah, I may be wrong.
He's going to be starting he's starting quarterback for the football team now.
But you remember, like El Ellis had been to like 3 different schools before he came here. Like we were like his 3rd or 4th school at least. So like I think he had been at a junior college, another small school, and then Louisville. So I don't know if he had any transfers left in him.
Well, no, they ruled today that you can just transfer. Just you can come and go as you please.
Yeah. But I've heard that with connections to Kentucky, whether they were committed recruits or players that played for Cal last year, I've heard some people say they expect as many as 7 or 8 players to be on this team that were from that group.
Yeah, no, and I figure there will. And
then there'll be some transfers he gets from elsewhere.
Yeah, and I think that's a pretty good start.
Yeah.
I mean, but how crazy is that? It's like, okay, we're going to go here now.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're just going to go here now. Like Kentucky, sorry. But, I mean, it's good that the kids have that freedom because I think kids really do. They commit to play for the coach, not the school.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Especially in basketball. And then you may have your instances where like Nick Smith wanted to be a Razorback.
Yeah. I was fixing to say him. Yeah.
You have things like that. And I think Jordan Walsh was going to go where Nick Smith went.
Yeah. Yeah. I think both of those, I think those are 2 great examples and recent examples that you bring up. Like you said, Nick Smith wanted to be a Hog.
Yeah.
He grew up in Little Rock. He wanted to be a Hog. He had a chance to go make more money playing in Vegas, in that other little
the
league they have there. But he didn't. He stayed, and so you appreciate that. But in the same recruiting class, you have Anthony Black and Jordan Walsh, who they wanted to get to the NBA, and they thought Musselman's style, and so they committed more to Musselman and who he was, and maybe some of it may have been to in the relationship they had with Nick Smith and the relationship they had with each other, but yeah, and so that's going to be the difference. But yeah, it's Cal's. We'll see. I think the floodgates are going to open one of these days. It's just going to be dropping on us like crazy.
Well, and Otis Kirk kind of got excuse me, he got a little spicy on the Facebook because he goes, guys, you don't tell him how many silent commits he has.
Yeah.
And it really seemed at the press conference like Cal was sincere. Like he hated that it got leaked because he didn't want to take away from the NCAA tournament.
Well, I question that a little bit.
I don't.
Well, and one of the reasons I've questioned it a little bit is I've listened to the other side a little bit. Okay. I've listened to, is it Matt Jones? Mac the guy that from
Matt.
not the one from Arkansas. Or not neither the one from Arkansas, the one that's on ESPN. That
Matt Jones,
it's on the documentary, the wrestling.
the wrestler, Matt Jones.
Yeah. Well, he's in Louisville and he's a Kentucky fan. And he brought up a good point. He said if he didn't want it to get out, then what's the dog walking thing about?
I don't know. I didn't know what that was.
Well, Cal on that Sunday that everything got, or that, when everything got leaked, went out and walked his dog when he knew press was hanging out outside his house. Okay. He went out, walked his dog in a little stroller or whatever, which sort of worries me that we have a coach that walks his dog in a stroller, but we won't talk about
first
that.
First, he might have been trolling them too.
Yeah.
I mean, he might have been like trolling them, like.
And it was after it had already gotten out, so you could say, well, he's just trying to get out, tired of being
like,
I'm not.
He didn't say nothing, but I felt like he was sincere. Some people didn't, so you can just make your.
And he
own
may have been sincere. Who knows? I mean,
but
he's a promoter too, and so I mean, heck, to me, if you can, I mean, would you blame him for putting an announcement, putting it out there and stealing some of the flair? You know what I mean? I mean, like, why not if you can put your organization above the biggest game going that day, and all of a sudden, hey, they're not talking about it as much. They're going to talk about you. I mean, why not take advantage of that? You know what I mean? Like it's a click world, man. I mean, that's what you're trying to get. You're trying to get clicks. You're trying to get noticed. You're trying to get discussions.
Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
So this is hypothetical here, and this may go into the new era of basketball and football and just college sports in general. So, do you think? Because you saw it when USC hired Oklahoma, they hired Lincoln Riley. Mm-hmm. Lincoln Riley immediately bought Caleb Williams with him. Mm-hmm. Cal leaves Kentucky's coming to Arkansas, and they're saying 7 to 8 up. Mm-hmm. So pretty much the players he wanted, like the core players.
Yeah.
Because when you get down to 9, 10, 11, 12, they're not really playing,
Yeah, yeah.
They're like, if they're in the game, someone's in foul trouble.
Yeah, yeah.
So are you going to start seeing coaching salaries go up the better recruiter you are, because they know, like, okay, the guys, if we bring in, because we knew bringing in Cal, he's going to bring all them, like, is it going to become a more common thing where, like, he's got this good quarterback, let's bring him in? Yeah. That way we have the end.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's going to become more about, I think you're exactly right. I think it's going to become more about, whereas used to, it was about, okay, what assistant coaches and what offensive style or defensive style are you going to run? That's what got, and that what we want our team to be? Okay. What kind of program are you going to run? That's what got coaches. Now it's going to be, okay, who can they bring with them?
Yeah.
Can they bring, can they bring us a top 10 recruiting class? Can they bring us a top 5 transfer portal class? Who do they got committed to them? Who's on their team already that's doing well, that is going to follow them? I think you're exactly right. I think we're going to see that. Well, it's going to decide jobs.
I mean, you got to think, but I mean, I'm just going to use Sam Pittman, for example, because I don't know who else to use. I mean, Sam Pittman, Eli Drinkwitz, Not going to say Lane Kiffin because I think I begrudgingly put Lane Kiffin a level above those two.
Mm.
Mark Stoops, that level coach,
Yeah.
mid-level college coaches. I don't know if you would see the max exodus. Like if they left. I mean, obviously you would, but I don't know if it'd be the bloodbath you would expect. I think it's going to be more like, it's got to be like the higher level where you're really going to start seeing guys poach like that.
Yeah.
But unless but who knows? Like if Eli Drinkwitz gets the number one quarterback recruit in the country committed to Missouri.
And if he says I can bring him with me,
Yeah.
And I mean, what's like you said, like Lincoln Riley to USC is a great example. I think Lincoln Riley they would have hired Lincoln Riley without Caleb Williams because he was a good name and he was a good fit for them.
He would have, but you just saw that. I mean, it happened to be.
Yeah. But there's going to be some where it's going to be obvious, Well, and you're seeing in the NBA, LeBron's going to do it with his son. I mean, his son has, not very good stats, and he's entered the draft. And there's a lot of people think someone's going to take him, possibly the Lakers, because they know that they're going to get LeBron with him.
Yeah.
And so whoever he goes to, if Milwaukee or Indiana or somebody like that gets him, and what if Cleveland gets him? Then they're going to get LeBron and his son. I mean
and I don't want to judge Bronny off this season because I think you have to probably look more of his high school tape. And I get people who are doing that, but I think Bronny gets a little bit of a bad rap because Bronny dealt with a serious cardiac issue early on.
Yeah.
And then he got thrown in the deep end of the pool.
And honestly, his stats were pretty well rounded for a guy that didn't get, all that much minutes played. So
yeah.
So, still they wasn't stats like you would.
Oh no, you wouldn't.
He wouldn't be drafted with those stats on a normal year. Okay, they would say, all right, let's give him another year. Let's see what he can do, and then we'll draft him. He may be a lottery pick.
I'm using Nick Smith as an example, and I know Nick Smith was a higher recruit. It's almost like you couldn't judge Nick Smith's.
Yeah.
Probably look more of his high school tape to evaluate him than when you get at Arkansas. He never played at Arkansas.
Yeah.
So anyway, I digress.
All right, Clint. Now, something else we need to talk about is
the sky's falling, Travis. The sky's falling.
Oh, well, some Arkansas fans were saying that, wasn't they? We go down to Bama. We lost our first series of the year.
Do you really want to go to the College World Series? Never. I mean, you're bound to lose one eventually. Get it out the way. Get out the way. It's
what was it? A couple years ago, we didn't lose a series all year, and we didn't even make it to Omaha.
Yeah. So
I
never do. But how insane is that? We literally lose our first series of the year, and we drop to number 2 behind Texas A&M. That's how crazy baseball is. It's number 1's A&M, 2's Arkansas, and 3 was Tennessee, I believe.
Yeah. And then Kentucky and someone else is up there.
Yeah, I mean the top. Well, Alabama's a top 20 team, and you're playing at Alabama. It's just it was bound to happen.
Yeah.
Starting pitching looked great again.
Yeah.
They didn't hit the ball extremely well. Bullpen gave up a little bit more than they usually do. They had a big bounce back this week. Man, you don't see that too often in baseball. A Power 5 clash midweek.
Yeah.
Normally, like, okay, you're playing UAB.
And a team, like I think someone said, I think it's Wes Moore or somebody on the radio this week was saying that this is the Texas Tech team's the type of team that would be like your number 2 seed in a regional. You
Yeah.
know, I mean, they would, because the top 16 teams will host a regional. So, they're
Yeah.
probably going to finish in the 17 to 20 something range. So they'd probably be a number 2 seed in a regional. So, you're getting a midweek game against a solid team,
Yeah.
or 2 midweek games actually. And of course, the first one, they're down by 7 runs. They get down at the beginning. But man, I love the comeback they did, Clint, because it wasn't just a couple guys got hot and hit some bombs. They worked for that comeback.
Yeah.
They had some sacrifice flies. We got lucky a little bit, but they had some grounders that got through. They really had to work their tail off to get those 7 runs back over a spread of some innings. And that's what I like, because I think in the past, some of these Arkansas teams that made it to Omaha, but then flopped in Omaha, wasn't able to put games together in Omaha like they did against Texas Tech the other night.
Yeah.
Because all they had was guys that when they get behind would get up there and swing for the fences. And that's it. They were feast or famine. Okay. And this team has shown they're willing to get up there and play small ball if they have to, and do the things to advance a runner the next base, the next base, the next base. And that's how you make comebacks. Okay. Every now and then you can have a comeback. You get lucky. Someone hits a grand salami. By the way, you remember Baseball Bo?
I remember Baseball Bo.
Okay. His son Mason is committed to go to UAM, but
Oh, okay.
the other as a pitcher. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the other night in a game, he gets up with at the end of the game with they're behind and hits a grand salami for to win the game. So congratulations, Mason.
Congratulations, Mason.
I saw him in the hallway the next day. I said, "Hey, is that Babe Ruth?" No, wait. He's got just a mustache. I said, "No, it's Juan Carlos Stanton." Because Yankees only let you have a mustache anyway.
So, yep.
But anyway, go back to it. But Arkansas, I'm proud of what I'm seeing, in that they're willing to do the little things to make those comebacks, and I think that's going to serve them well as the season goes on, because they're going to know how to make comebacks.
No, I agree 100% of this. I look forward to seeing how they develop.
Yeah.
I really do. And did you see what South Carolina did?
No.
Now this is crazy to me, because usually your Friday starters, you both throw your aces.
Yeah.
This is our best versus your best. Let's go.
Yeah.
South Carolina's not doing that. They're pitching their Friday starters Saturday. It's almost like they're like, it really, this is what a lot of people on Facebook are saying. I don't think this, but it's almost like we can't beat Hagen Smith.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to throw our bullpen guy up there.
Yeah.
Um,
That's a legit. I could see a team. A popular thing is to do a bullpen outing. To where you go have a guy go in. He's going to do 2 innings. Have somebody else come in and do 2 innings. Somebody else come in and do 2 innings. I could see doing that against a guy like Hagen Smith. I mean, that's not a bad strategy, to be honest with you.
Yeah, like, okay, you put all your eggs in this basket. We're gonna gamble with it. So,
well, Clint, I'm gonna throw something else at you here.
All right, throw it at me.
Change the subject. I don't know if you saw this, but there was something. I think it was leaked. I don't think it was meant to get out.
Oh yeah, see, and I wonder the validity of it, whole thing. But you sent it to me. Yeah, I looked at it.
It's college football super league. Now, Clint, this is something you talked about earlier, that we've been doing this for, we're working on our 4th year, I guess, or something.
Yeah.
And this is something we've talked about quite a bit. And it's, this is different than what we expected, in some of our conversations. But what it is somebody has got this chart of 7 different super leagues, and this would be what it would be is college
10
football,
league. Yeah, yeah.
college football pulling away from the NCAA, and no longer, in which we've said that's the end game.
Yeah, the model, it's got to happen.
They're going to end up away from the NCAA. And here's what it looks like for Arkansas. Let me just say what.
I think it'd be a good league for Arkansas because you
But
got.
I think fans wouldn't like it though.
Well,
Here's what it is. Ready? Southwest. It's Arkansas, Baylor, Houston,
I can name it for you without looking at it.
Oklahoma.
That's Oklahoma State, and basically the Southwest Conference.
Yeah, SMU, TCU,
Yeah,
Texas, Texas A&M, and Texas Tech.
Houston's in that, isn't it?
Yeah, I said Houston.
Yeah, yeah. So it really is. It's the Southwest Conference plus Arkansas and Oklahoma State. That's what it is.
Yeah. It makes a lot of sense. It keeps the travel good. And that's the thing about this is I looked through it. It actually keeps the travel. You don't have Rutgers playing UCLA like we do now. Okay. We got, it keeps the travel. I think on most of these, I didn't look exactly in every one of them, but let me tell you a couple of the others. The South Division, just to kind of let you know, Alabama, Auburn, Georgia, Georgia Tech, Kentucky, LSU, Mississippi State, Ole Miss, Tennessee, and Vandy. So pretty a good, strong SEC field there.
Can I tell you why this is where this idea is stupid, very stupid.
Okay.
Because you're basically going to be like, okay, these messed up conferences we have now, they're messed up.
Yeah.
We're going to keep these illogical conferences for women's soccer. But when it comes to college football, let's map these conferences out. That should be your conferences for literally everything else but football.
Yeah.
That is what the Arkansas women's soccer team, the volleyball team, whatever, your golf, that should be your conference for that.
Yeah.
That's what your men's tennis conference should be.
Yeah.
Because then you're talking about reasonable bus rides that you have to do, and you're not going to the Las Vegas airport and seeing the Miami women's volleyball team having to fly commercial across the country because they're in some stupid league. I'm sorry.
And I think, Clint, I think that would be the end game, but I don't think the organization isn't behind all those other leagues for them to do that. The organization that would do that would be the NCAA. And we all know that they're not smart enough to do something like that because they're the ones putting them in these stupid leagues anyway. Well, they're allowing them to be in these stupid leagues anyway. So I think well, and a lot of them are forming. They're going to end up forming some of their own leagues anyway. There's already talk about that they're not going to play the same leagues as their football team does right now, and those ones that are traveling all crazy. So there's talk about that anyway, kind of like the way high school does. Like Camden Fairview, I use them as an example just because I'm familiar with them. They're a 5A school. They play in the 5A Southwest or 5A South, whatever it is. And but their basketball and baseball teams play in a different conference in 4A. And they play teams that are a lot closer around to here. So they play they play some teams that play in a 5A in football and some that play 4A in football.
Yeah.
And so I think you're seeing some of that in some of these colleges are talking about doing that too. Some of these California schools are talking about staying with, even though they may have joined up with, other places, they're going to stay with some of their Pac-12 teams in as far as in some of these other sports, so they don't have to travel as far. That's already in the talks. Now it's nothing official.
It makes no sense. But anyway.
Well, I think what'll happen if football goes to that, the rest of the sports will go quickly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's all about banding together and getting media rights is what it is. That's all it is. And I think if you've got the Power 70, or you get this is the Power 70, we're all going to play amongst each other, and we're going to do them, because instead of doing it, because that's what killed the Pac-12, was that they negotiated a terrible media rights deal, and everybody's like, no, I'm out.
Yeah.
So anyway, but speaking of football, spring practices came and went.
That's right. And one of the things I have to admit on here, and I have to call it like it is, okay? I said last time we met that one of the things I was worried about with Green was his accuracy. I'm not going to tell you that this last scrimmage fixed all those worries for me, but it sure helped, because for one thing, his accuracy was better. He threw some really good balls. He threw some really good passes. But the other thing was, you got to see a couple runs in the highlight. I just watched some highlights of it, and you got to see a couple of his runs, and there's two of them that he would have been to the house, no question, like not even close. Like someone just happened to reach out and I think got close to his jersey on his way by as he was running by him. Like it was not even close. So he's going to make up for, let's say he throws for around 50% accuracy, which, KJ was throwing for in the 60s and sometimes 70% accuracy range. So let's say he's a little below that. He's down in the 50s. He's going to make up for some of that in his ability to escape and run.
Yeah.
And get, he may not connect on a lot of short, on some plays that you wish he would connect with. But on a 3rd and 5, he's going to be able to get about 8 yards, that just because of his speed and his elusiveness, that even KJ wouldn't have been able to get. And KJ was pretty dang athletic. So anyway, so all that to say, I think I feel really good about the quarterback spot. I really do.
I do too. I really do. Jacoby Criswell transferred out. You hate it when an Arkansas kid, but I think Jacoby saw, like, sometimes you get a fair shake at it and it just don't go your way.
Yeah.
And I think I feel bad for him, because he was he had offers from everybody out of high school. But
well, and the thing is too, and that's one of the things with the transfer portal we've talked about, is the fact that kids aren't going to make connections at schools like they used to. And Jacoby was one of those kids that you were rooting for especially when he came back to Arkansas, to make a connection at Arkansas.
Yeah.
Because you wanted him to be one of those guys that, kind of like a Tyler Wilson that comes on the radio every now and then, that, a Ryan Mallett, guys that you see at public things and that you still kind of root for in the rest of their career. And, the thing is, you may still have some of that with him, but there's going to be less chance of it because he's about to go to his 3rd school.
Yeah.
Where is he going to feel committed to? Where is he going to show up at for spring practices? And
you say that like I go to, we got a group of us to go to Arkansas Tech every year.
Yeah.
And we usually go homecoming, we hang out in the Letterman's Lounge, and have fun, and we catch up, and we have but you have a bond that's built over years, and they're not going to have that
Well, they're just not going to build that bond. I mean,
Yeah.
there's not going to do it.
So, well, it's a different time, different era. And of course,
Yeah.
I was also playing Division II football, so it
Yeah.
wasn't and playing's a loose.
Yeah.
So anyway, Travis, what's your biggest surprise, pleasant surprise coming out of the spring?
Um, I think how good that they're saying the linebackers are going to be.
See, you took the words out of my mouth.
I
And
think,
you watched the spring game and like you didn't or you didn't notice deficiencies.
yeah.
No, that because they thought because you like yeah, if we could add a veteran for depth, but they don't seem concerned.
And that was the thing that concerned me when we lost Pooh Paul and when we lose the guys that we lost in transfers and stuff like that. That was the biggest worry for me because that was to me that was one of our best groups of players last year, especially on defense. I mean, they were guys like I didn't worry about them.
No,
Who was the guy that was the leading tackler guy?
Singletary.
Yeah, he left, and I mean that when you lose those to him and Pooh Paul, you're thinking, man. But Spencer is
Yeah,
stepping in, and
Carson Dean, Avant, all them guys.
all of them are
And then
doing.
they got the 5-star from Georgia, a story.
Mhm.
So, biggest concern.
Um, originally I would have said, the offensive line, but that's I don't know, man. I'm just liking what I'm hearing from those guys. I guess one of my concerns is are these receivers are they gonna play big time like we need them to? Is there gonna be somebody that Green can say that's my guy that I can, or a couple of them that he can count on to catch balls? Um, I don't know because I don't think they lived up last year to their ability, but it sounds like they're playing much better this year in the spring. But are they going to be able to put that on the field? Because we got to have some weapons there. What's yours?
The depth.
Yeah.
Listen, when I go back to when I played at Tech, there was the fall scrimmage, and the twos were playing the ones.
Mm.
The twos were driving down to beat the ones when the second string center snapped the ball over the quarterback's head. But I digress.
Mhm.
I'd have been me.
Yeah.
Anyway, but the fact that the score discrepancy was so big,
Yeah.
and it was the twos pretty much the entire time playing the
The ones.
the ones. Um, that was a little concerning to me. But other than that, the depth had me a little concerned.
Yeah.
But I feel like one deep we're good, but what's going to happen when you get to early November and people are beat up?
Yeah. What's crazy is I feel better about our like if you ask me like who we can't afford to lose, I'm gonna say I'm not quarterback's not gonna be my top
No,
because I feel like we'd be okay with Malachi Singleton or KJ Jackson.
but yeah, because they made it sound like Jacoby was dropping down to 4.
And to me, like
And
when
I'm
I
not trying to
saw
put the kid down, but I just
and some
sometimes
of
you
the
get
highlights, they look good. You know what I mean? I mean, just what little I've seen and what I hear in like Trey Biddy and some of them talk about, I'm not as worried about that as say I would have been last year,
yeah.
or the last couple years. But man, that offensive line and we lose one or two of those guys, I'm start worrying. Even our depth in our defensive line isn't what it, and we just lost Stewart or whatever.
Yeah.
Jashad Stewart.
Really on the offensive line, you need to be about a good 8 deep.
Yeah.
And you got to have contingency plans. I know you've got Takese Crawford. Sitting there, you got a Marion Harris. So I feel good that you got them 2 guys.
Yeah.
Because I've seen the proof out there.
And they're actively trying to add another one. I mean, Pittman keeps saying he wants to add another experienced guy to the list.
But you see what I'm saying? I think there's 8 right there. That's 8. And I agree with defensive line. I think they could definitely use another defensive tackle. It seems like, it really seems like they feel like they're set at linebacker and secondary.
Yeah.
They said they could find another experienced receiver. They'd love to have one, but I think you're a good 5 deep there. But can you find the guy there that's going to be a game changer?
Yeah.
It might have been Luke Haas last year. And it may be again this year. Who knows?
Yeah.
It's going to be neat to see what Petrino can cook up with these guys.
Oh, for sure.
It really is. I think he's got and the portal hasn't hit us too bad. I mean, you haven't lost anyone that you're like, oh wow, really?
Yeah.
I don't think you like seeing Auguste leave because he showed promises last year, but I think it's like I said, it's the guys that you saw leaving, I think kind of saw the writing on the wall by getting beat out. Which there's no shame in that. There's only one position and sometimes you lose it.
Yeah.
And it just is what it is because Max Fletcher seemed like he was falling behind some of the other guys. But those are the only 3 that I'm aware of. I'm not counting Chambly, who's, decided before it didn't participate in spring at all. So
yeah, Fletcher was kind of surprising to me today to see that one, but he was also very inconsistent last year.
Yeah.
He may come out and kick awesome one, boom, some ungodly kick, and then the next time he's shanking it. So if they got someone that can, keep it consistent, that's what they're going to go with.
That's why I love Reed Bauer was as consistent could be.
Yeah.
A friend of the program, Reed Bauer.
That's right. Friend of the program. So, well, Clint, I think we talked about all the important stuff.
Yeah. Another one bites the dust, as Queen says.
I'm going to try to get a video of Talon Van Kroenstein.
Yeah, get a video.
I'm going to try to get a video of him, or at least a picture, so I can put him up. And
there you go.
See, you can see what I'm talking about, what I'm dealing with here, because he's a beast.
Oh, yeah.
The chickens are attacking.
Yeah.
So, and they're not even bringing me eggs. So,
I like it.
I like eggs. Well, folks, thank you so much for listening and watching and whatever else you're doing. Thanks so much. Just continue to like, share, comment, all that.
Hey, sorry this is a day late. My bad.
Subscribe, all that kind of stuff. We need you. Okay. We need you. You are the reason we do this. You are the reason that we enjoy this, and we need you to help us get out there more and more. So anyway, Clint, have a good week, man.
Bye, everybody.
Peace out.
Sweat, work, filthy, dirt, harvest, hurt, kingdom come. Sweat, work, filthy, dirt, harvest, hurt, kingdom come. Listen, that's why I sweat when I work. My hands get filthy down in this dirt. Won't see no harvest till I hurt. Crying your kingdom come. Listen, I wake up in the morning, I bow my head to pray. Mama told me if I don't, ain't nothing gonna change. These prayers breaking up hard drive. plow so I can sow the seed. Ain't afraid of no aches and pain. Lord knows I gotta follow his lead. That's why I sweat when I work. My hands get filthy down in this dirt. Won't see no water till I hurt. Crying your kingdom come. Oh, I sweat when I work. My hands get filthy down in this dirt. Won't see no water till I hurt. Crying your kingdom come. Sun beating down so hard.